So the entire premise of connectors, I think, is a very simple one. So let's get into straight demo. So in this demo, we'll write messages to Kafka. So messages that have the same schema as Scylla table schema. And the connector will write them into Scylla. So first of all, how would you download the sync connector? The sync connector repository is an open source repository. You can browse the source code of sync connector, and you can download it and build it yourself. But I think the best way and the easiest way is to use the Confluent Hub. Confluent Hub is essentially an app store for connectors. For example, you can see there are many connectors for Azure and other databases. And if you search for Scylla sync connector, there it is. And it's as easy as invoking this command. So let's go into it. Let's install Confluent Hub and then install the sync connector using Confluent Hub. First, we will download the binary of Confluent Hub. Then it's as easy as extracting it. And afterwards, you can just use the Confluent Hub command to install connectors. So we want to install the sync connector, and we'll use the command that is specified here on the Confluent Hub website. We have to specify the paths where it installs to, and the defaults are usually OK. And just like this, the connector is installed. As you can remember, we stopped Confluent platform, so let's start it back. And while it's starting, let's start Scylla. During this demo, I will use Scylla in Docker container, as it's the easiest way to run Scylla. So I'll start the Scylla container. I've already started one before. So now it's working. And it's starting up. In the meantime, the Kafka Confluent platform is starting. I think it's good time to connect to the Docker container with Scylla. So we'll use the Docker exec command and use cqsh. And as you can see, the Scylla has started. And we will create the tables and the key spaces that will write the data from Kafka using the sync connector. So first, we create a key space. Next, we will create the table, which will gather the data from Kafka. And it will gather data from sync topic 1 topic from Kafka. As you can see, the Confluent platform has started. So if we go back to the control center, and if you tap connect, it's the Confluent Kafka Connect deployment. Now the ScyllaDB sync connector is visible, and you can use it. First of all, you have to specify which topic to gather data from. And this is what we'll do. We'll create a new topic. We'll name it sync topic 1. Below, you can specify the number of partitions. So if you wanted to have a higher throughput, you would specify a larger number of partitions. So the topic is now created. And if we add the connector, we specify that we want to read the data from sync topic 1. And after we do it, a plethora of options appears, but hopefully, and not hopefully, but thankfully, most of the options have reasonable defaults, so you only want to need to change the options of a few settings. So first of all, we'll specify the key converter class. This is the setting that allows you to specify the format of generated messages. In this case, we'll use the JSON format, as it's easy to use. And to make these messages a little bit linear, we'll add a new property called key-converter schemas enable. And if we set it to false, the generated messages will not have a schema, which will make it easier to present in this presentation. But of course, you can leave it as default to also present schemas. Next, under the connection tab, you have to specify the IP address of Scylla. So as you can remember, we have connected to Scylla in Docker. So it's at this address, at this IP address. And finally, we have to specify the key space we'll write the data to. In this case, we'll use the KS key space we have just created before. And now we have started the connector, and it's started to listen for messages on this topic we have created. So let's go back to to Scylla. And as you can see, the table we have created is empty. But if we create a Kafka message, as the key, it will have the primary key of the Scylla table. And as a value, it will have the entire row. If we produce the message, it was sent, as you can see below. And if we go back to Scylla, now this message has been successfully inserted to the Scylla table. and the connector is still listening for new messages. And you can use the connector to insert many millions of rows. So that was a quick demo of Scela Sync connector. So to recap, we have downloaded and installed Scela Sync connector. We have started Scela in a Docker container, and we have configured and started the Sync connector.